between Israel and the Philistines. And in any situation where there is battle, there's also personal stories that come out. And this was no different. David had been sent out to lead the armies against the Philistines. But the personal piece of that picture is that Saul was the king of Israel. David, who was the chosen by God to lead Israel, were in conflict. And they were conflicted because Saul had 3 sons. One of them's name was Jonathan. And in Jonathan's travels, he met David, and they became very close to each other. And Saul didn't like it. He felt his son was, I guess you'd say, upstaging him. And in the process of their life's journey, what happened was Saul drove David out. He had sent him out to the front lines to do war, and probably in hopes that he'd get himself killed. Didn't happen. Jonathan would warn David about what Saul was doing, and at one point he actually planned on killing him at an evening meal. You work with these different situations, and you find out that they're very personal, and they create such a struggle in world events. And as this struggle was going on, Jonathan was kind of watching over David, and David was trying to do the work that he was called to do as head of the army, and Saul was trying to get rid of him. And this is all under the canopy of God's calling David into leadership and watching over Israel. So as the scripture tells us, there was a battle going on at Mount Gilboa, and lo and behold, as the battle raged, Jonathan's 2 brothers and Jonathan were killed. That was over against what Saul would want to have had happen. And so the words that we heard read to us from 2 Samuel are the words of lamentation, of the poem, of the feelings that David was pouring out as he grieved the passing of his very close friend, Jonathan. What also happened, you hear him talking about David and Jonathan in this at this time, and Saul was so distraught about losing his sons, all 3 of them, that he killed himself. And so now David has lost his dear friend. And before this battle had taken place, Jonathan had vowed with David to separate so that they wouldn't keep Saul upset. And Saul reconciled with David. So David actually lost both Jonathan and Saul out of his life. And his heart is broken, his tears are falling, but it's all in the surrounding, with the surrounding of a war. And as I read through this, how personal it was and how difficult it and how at that point, in reality, the barrier that was there in place in Israel, over Israel, that kept David from being the king or the leader as God has directed, was solved. That barrier had been taken away. And they became an Israel that had a much freer lifestyle for a while. Because I say that because Israel was so often in struggle with one country or another as they tried to establish themselves. And as I was going through this, I couldn't help but think how much that story fits every war for independence, and every war that we have been involved with has been not only for our independence, but the independence of people around this world. And I wonder how many personal stories were taken out because of the war, how many relationships were destroyed, how many lives were destroyed. We're talking specifically about our independence and the 4th of July representing our, as a nation, independence. And I think about the British coming, and they were bent on keeping this country, this new country, under their control. And the personal things that happened as these different ones rode out to warn the others. Now this country was not set up for war. And there were a bunch of farmers and whatnot that had a mindset. Especially in New England, we have a mindset, we have an attitude. Independence. People are always speaking of the independence of the Maine people. I've heard that so many times. And it comes from our heritage. We like who we are. But one of the things that I share with you is that the night that Paul Revere rode out to Lexington and Concord, warning that the British was coming, one of my great, I don't know if Barbara could tell you better, great relatives on my grandfather Doer's side, Ebenezer Dorr, rode another route to warn the people, and he came together with Paul Revere up there in Lexington after the task was done. And in the history it says he had to go out like a carpetbagger so that the sentries in the city of Boston wouldn't recognize him for someone going out to warn. But these are the personal stories, and they have touched everyone, all of our heritages throughout the years, and how that all comes together. I think as July 4th comes to us, that we should stop and think about the price that was paid, the lives that were lost, the stories that were never told, the feelings that disappeared because of the wars, but also the reward of the freedom that we have today. I have before me, you know, we sing the national anthem, and each time I hear it, I think there's more to it than what we're hearing. And we today